Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and my question is to the Treasurer. Will the Treasurer outline how the government is building growth, jobs and opportunity for all Australians?
I call the Honourable the Treasurer.
That is a better question. It's a question about facts. And the Abbott government is building growth, jobs and opportunity for all Australians. Building growth, because the growth rate we're running today is much higher than it was under Labor. And jobs, because the job rate we're running today, the job creation out there is running 3 times the speed it was under Labor. And opportunity, because we are opening up new markets, free trade agreements with Korea and Japan and China. That opens up new opportunity for everyday Australians, and we are dealing with the facts. We inherited a legacy of debt and deficit from Labor as far as the eye could see. Every single day, the Australian government is spending $100 million more than it collects in revenue. And every single day we have to go and borrow that money. So we do not get back to a surplus. We do not live within our means until we start to reduce our expenditure without imposing a raft of new taxes on the Australian people. And you've got to deal with the facts as they stand, something the member for McMahon does not understand. We know he doesn't understand his facts. Nothing illustrates it better than these words from 2010. The member for McMahon: the government has returned the budget to surplus, 3 years ahead of schedule, ahead of any other major advanced economy. He was claiming for credit for a surplus that was never delivered. In fact, in that year, the then government delivered the biggest deficit in Australia's history, $54.5 billion deficit. Oops, oops, $54.5 billion out. How did that happen? That's bad Bowen. That's bad Bowen. The good news from the Abbott government is we've found a good Bowen. We found a good Bowen. Phil Bowen, the Parliamentary Budget Officer. He's a good Bowen. He's a believable Bowen. He said, quote, yesterday in Senate estimates, the current budget, in relation to current budget, it certainly is necessary to get the deficit under control. He said, this is not a situation that we can continue to live with over the longer term. Over the longer term, increasing debt risks crowding out private sector investment and negatively impacting economic growth. Good Bowen knows what he's talking about. He says you've got to get the debt down. He says you've got to get the deficit down. He says you've got to create jobs. He says you've got to create opportunity. That is a good Bowen. That is a Bowen that understands his facts. That is a Bowen that gets it right. Bad Bowen, unfortunately, leaves behind the Australian people, has no economic credibility and represents the very worst of the modern Labor Party.